Welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another live stream. So, we are currently doing our setup for the new realistic survival roleplay series here on the channel. So I thought, instead of wasting about an hour doing setup on our first video, I thought I would jump in and do a live stream instead. So we're not going to change our outfit in any way. And we start off on this farm here. Also, we're starting on hard mode, so don't actually officially own anything, as far as I'm aware. No. So, let's buy this farm. It doesn't really give you that option, does it? So, yeah, let's sell the stuff that's here. I believe we can do that very easily. Let's just trying to remember to do this. So this is everything that we own on the map just now. We are just going to sell the whole fucking lot because we don't really need it all. Okay. So we'll just sell the whole lot. Some of the stuff, yeah, okay, we'll be buying it again, but frankly, we shouldn't be starting off with anything. We have selected the hard mode. What I am going to do is just prove that we're not actually on the server, and we're not because the thing's not there to do it. We do have the contracting mod enabled, so this is the contracting tab settings thing, so it gives us the rewards that we want to do and all that. Okay, we'll touch on that in a little bit. We have the better contract mode. That brings us all this stuff up. Okay. Production change, we don't have any. That's our start. So, yeah, we're actually just in the game. So, just to prove that we are actually just in the game. So, we are in hard mode. Okay, our time scale at the minute will be set to bare minimum. And I am going to call it realistic. Realistic survival r/p. Okay, we'll do that and we'll save the game at that point. Okay, just to prove that it's actually saved. There's nothing worse than us coming back later on and realising that frankly the game hasn't actually saved. So we're going to have 6 days per month. There's no point having vehicles turned on. I can't, because also we are actually on Fairhead and there's no actual traffic on this map. There's no AI traffic whatsoever. So because we're on hard mode, all this is turned off automatically in my house tip anywhere because of the tip anywhere mod. We do have the cause it destroys fields. So we're going to make sure that's set to that for the time being. Because we're running the Kubota mod, we do have passenger expansion or extension as they call it. So we'll sort that out at some point. So again, we'll just save just to make sure our settings do actually save and we don't come back to it later on and find out that all hell's broken loose. So let's just make sure that everything else there is correct, and it seems to be. So also we've got precision farming enabled as well. Because most people when they start this map, everybody plays there or they play there, we are going to we're going to start here, I think. Do we start there or do we start up here? Okay, so we don't get a lot of fuels up this end. It's 6, so that's the cheapest. That's the one we're going to start with, guys. Okay, so we're going to buy that because that, I believe, is one of the cheapest starting points. We only start off with literally 4 fields and a house bit. So let's jump up here. I am going to spawn in some money. I'm going to take up. I'm going to take it up to £1 million once we buy our animals. For some reason, this is not doing what I wanted to do. Also, that's our road. I'm guessing this would be the drive into our house. I've got an itchy nose. So over here is what I'm guessing is our silage pits. And we'll just prove that we're coming in here. Yeah, so they're both silage pits. The top filled, so it makes life a bit easy. You just reverse in, tip over the bank, and you reverse over the top of it. Is pretty much what happens with that style. So that's the way we're going to do it. Open that gate, workshop all, and all that stuff. And then you have been here. We are going to spawn in some fuel, diesel, that kind of stuff. So down here is also our husbandry setup. I'm guessing that there turns lights on. So turn the lights on. Yeah, okay, that might be a bit of an issue. So I'm guessing this is cows. It is cows. So it's not a big setup, this place. Okay, also it is a small farm. Let's turn the lights on. Turns indoor lights on. So this is our trig. So what we're going to do is we are going to start off with heifers, basically. It's heifers we're going to start off with. And we'll go with 69 of them. The reason we're going to go with 69 is we're going to buy a bull at some point. There's no necessarily a bad idea. So let's go get a young bull, bull calf, Angus bull calf, because they're nice and quiet. So we do have pumps and hoses enabled, so that gives us separated manure. Okay. The problem I have with that mod is I don't, but it's realistic. Okay. I also have the hide mod enabled at the minute. Okay. So let's take a look at the minimap and see what's actually growing in our arable field, if anything. I don't think anything's grown because it's not shown as anything grown. If it comes up with grass, and it has come up with grass. So yeah, it's saying it's grass, okay? So we don't have anything in the ground apart from grass, okay? So what we're going to do is we are now going to go into easy dev mode and we're going to set the money to 1 million, okay? No, that's 1,000. So I've done it again. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Thank you. My brain is not actually working today. So we've got £1 million in our bank, and that's got to basically last us until we start bringing money in. So obviously, because we only have grass fields at the minute, it's a tight map. It really is a tight map. I've played on it before. Can't remember if we've done any live streams or any videos on here before. If you've seen this map from Dagman's survival let's play thing on this map, you'll know how tight it is. So we're going to start off buying ourselves a car. Now, what kind of car we go for? Anybody that knows me knows I like my Hiluxes. Sorry. But you know I like my Hiluxes, okay? And they're, apart from a Land Rover, they are reliable. They are, especially the older ones. They are built to basically last. So we're just going to set it up to what we want. So this is currently, can we, so I don't know if this is going to let me put in a decent registration number or not really. So we're going to have to stick with the 3 letters, 4 numbers, that kind of thing. Which is fine because we're single player, we're not on the server. This is a fully single player series. So we're going to buy that for nearly 50 grand. And that gives us a tab. Okay? So we're going to jump into the pickup now. The dealership. One of the mods, or one of the enable things that we have is the ability to bring in a four-wheel drive system. So we're going to bring all this in, and it allows us to have a four-wheel drive default enabled. So I'm going to minimise any help screen just for a wee bit. What I'm going to do is move the Hilux out of the way. So we're not going to do much farming in this live stream. So this live stream is basically just to get set up. We might cut some grass and do that kind of stuff. So the next thing we're going to buy is, or not buy, but we'll go through these tabs and just see what we've got. So obviously we could go with a Nissan, but it's a lot more expensive. And Nissan pickups, they tend to break in the middle. What I mean by that is it's the back of the cab and the front of the cargo bed. They normally split in half there, and the front end nosedives to the ground, and the back end breaks and falls perhaps to the ground, if that makes sense. One of the things we'll get in the future is a cherry picker van kind of thing. So, because we don't have any year limits, but we need to be aware of our bank, basically. What we're going to do is just try and keep within a horsepower limit, okay? So it might be we buy big and old, because that might be the only way we can afford to do this. So it's just working out what horsepower we can get. Obviously they are too old for the minute, but we will need one of them at some point. So At the minute, we need to get a tractor that can cut grass. That's our priority. Um, that's pretty good. That's just shy of 200 horsepower. That's probably going to be the best price tractor we can possibly find at this point in time. So, unfortunately, we're going to go with the Reynolds, okay? But we are going to put BKTs on it. 680, 640. So they're the widest tyres we've got. We will put the tyre sound on, because obviously it's realistic. We'll widen the rear ones if we can. Mud guards, that is. Exhaust, standard exhaust, straight exhaust. That's basically just the tubing. Both beacons will have the work lights. We don't need the triangle. Front PTO, it doesn't give us a link, sorry, it gives us the linkage, it doesn't give us the PTO. We could go weights, but so we'll just go with the weight system. I'm not going to put a order on this. I'm not going to put the mod on for doing that. So we'll buy that at nearly 90 grand. Expensive, I know. And we need for at least to start off with, we need some more. So we'll get the more if I can find it. The more that we have on greenhouse. So my mind just went completely blank there. I kept wanting to say Bally Springs and it's not. It's greenhouse that we've got that mod on. So that also gives us 70 horsepower. It's a 3 meter. 3 meter, 80 horses. So 80 horsepower for that. So we're going to go with that one because I believe it's the more we've got on the other series that we do. So we'll get that. We do need to get a tether. So we'll get that tether. So I am aware of the money. So we'll get that. Do need a rake. So we'll get reasonably sensible rake. So that's 21,500. 7 meter, 9 meter. That's really the cheapest one we can go for. That's sensible. Okay, so we'll get that. At this point in time, the cheapest way of us doing this is Beagle. There is a cheap bale in here somewhere if I haven't named it. I think that's probably the cheapest round bale we can afford. I believe. Don't think there's anything else. 49, 45. Glass is still cheaper. 49 for New Holland. 45. Yeah. So the cost is the cheapest. It's a small baler. It's only going to give us 125, which is not the end of the world, but it's something we just have to go with. Okay, so we'll go with our attachment, which is standard. We'll have the storage for the net. It's 90 horsepower. It's not the end, you know, it's nothing to sneeze at. It's just the fact that it's small bales. So because we don't have a loader tractor, anything like that, that's far too expensive for us at the minute. So we're going to have to go with one of these. So we'll get one of them, which we can't do it, we have to have some sort of item for lifting bales, okay? We don't have a loader, we don't have anything like that, we have to go with what we've got. So if we get a wrapper, we could go with that one for when we do silage, that's fine. So obviously we'll put that on. What's the brands? Viking, no, that's fine, that's fine. Foil cover, we'll go black, but it doesn't really matter. We'll go boy, and we'll buy that. So that's as far as we're going to go with that at this point in time. The animal transport, we're going to go for the Ife Williams spec trailer, because again we are on this single player map, we don't really use this that often anyway, so we'll buy that. It's nice and handy for what we want to do. Moving on, we don't really need anything else at this point in time, because we can't really afford that much more. So, one of the other things we need to do is we will need to buy our foil wrap. So, we'll go with the blue. But I hear you say we don't have a load or anything like that. Yes, I know we don't, okay? But what we're going to do is we're going to get it for the vehicle, okay? I'm going to put a 3-point on it. That means we can pick up the tractor and we can put it on a plant trailer. So we'll get a plant trailer at some point. It's not going to be anytime soon, but we will get one. Net wrap is one of the most important things we need. So because we've got a class B up, let's get class wrap. Again, we'll get it on for order for vehicle. We'll get it for the 3-point. Or we can lift it about. So that's bought. We did say we need a plant trailer, so we'll just buy that just now. So it needs to be something we can tow with the tractor or the pickup. So I think the best option is going to be get the one for the tractor. We don't want to wedge it. We'll put the bale rack on. We'll have a standard ramp. Standard hatch. And that'll pretty much do us for that. So there's nothing else really that we're needing at this point in time. Okay. So that leaves us with £710,000. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we'll jump into our Renault tractor. Also, I've left the number plate on the front of it. So yeah, let's not worry about that. So we should have a mod that stops us from turning our heads all the way around, and we do. So we just double check that. And it stops me there. So this is the map where, or series I should say, where we have to stay within the car. Okay, we can't drive about like that. We have to stay within the car. Unless I say we're putting the drone up in the air, then we get to do it. Okay. So let's lift that up, fold it. Oh, trying it round. Because obviously we can't go and see how much space we've got up front. What I am going to do is take off the front number plate. Okay. 21 vehicle. It's not going to make any difference. It's going to remain as our last vehicle anyway. So we'll jump on that. We'll just move that to the back only. Confirm. So we'll attach that. We'll start again. So one of the things we will need to do is turn our traction control, four-wheel drive, and enable differential for AI workers. I'm just going to turn it off just to make sure that, yeah, so we are properly set up. So what we're going to do now is head to at least one of our sales fields, the grass fields, and we're going to start cut. We do have the ability to do contracts and all that, but frankly we need to get our farm up and going first. We'll turn our lights on, we'll turn our beacons on. We'll just keep going. If I remember rightly, I can get to our farm by going this way. It's 20 over 20 gearbox we've got, 24, 20 reverse. So head up. So ice market to our right. There's something else in there as well, it's a sell point. So we have to turn left here. This is one of the easiest ways to get to our farm, really. So we'll continue going along this road. Basically stay on this road until the end. That's it. This really only a setup. We should be taking up all. I think what we will do is we'll take all our stuff to the yard. Okay. But what I want to do first is at least mow one of the fields. Okay. because obviously we need to start buying in feed for cows. And we'll try and sell them at the same time. So, for anyone that doesn't know, this is Fairhead's map. This is an Irish map, and it's a tight Irish map. Single track roads, pretty much. Oh, I was going to say pretty much all the way round. It is all the way round. Really, really tight map. It's not designed for your big equipment, your big aggy gear, or arable gear. It's more for your standard livestock farmers. That's the feel of this map. Okay, it's designed for your small gear and small gear only. Probably a T7 tractor's probably the biggest you'd want to drive on these roads, and even that's probably the big side. Some of the gateways. Combines, we'll need to watch what we're doing with the combines because obviously if we go too big, we can get on this road. If we go too small, we'll be there for forever. And I think I've went to the wrong. Actually, no, because right, we can, yeah, we continue along this road. This is going to be one of the other farms I want to go to. So we continue along this road, and it should bring us up to our farm up here. So it's an ideal map for multiplayer and all that, if we're doing that kind of series. Unfortunately, we're not. Never say never. We might come back to this map at some point before we completely jump to 22. It's 25. We're at this is 22. Um, so we've got sell point or sell points. Oops. Here on our right. So we do have a very tight turn there. And we'll continue up this road. I haven't checked the map, but I believe this is where we want to go. Yes, it is. So this is really the only way to this farm. If you like being out in the sticks, this is probably the farm for you. When we bought this farm, I didn't actually realise it was as far away from the shop. So obviously that's the track to nowhere. That's the track that we should be going down. One of the things I'm going to change is the stop go, because I don't like the way it works. If I can actually press settings for that. That's what I want. Mm, mm, mm. because obviously it's power shift. So I don't want to have to go right at it, stop and then move. So that's the way I prefer it. It just makes life so much easier when we're in a hurry. And we thought the last road we were on was narrow. This takes a biscuit. But we'll continue heading down this road anyway, because we have no option. This is where we have bought. This is our farm. So we now turn left here. So if we jump out, we can see that on this sign, this is actually Fairview Farm. This is what we own. We own Fairview Farm. That's our name, tractor. So we'll continue down this road. Again, even our driveway is pretty tight. So again, when we come to getting a combine and all that, we need to be aware of the roads that we're going to be on, access and where we put it, okay? Now, access to the fields might be a little bit hard to find. It's not going to be through a shed, is it? We'll go this way. I don't mind which one we go to start. So, going this way takes us into 98. No, see, we'll jump out because obviously we can't go into flight mode. Okay, so it's just a story yard, it's just a compound, basically, this bit. Oh, okay. So you basically got to come into 98 to tap, basically. So we'll open that. Okay, that might be a pain in the arse at some point. Okay, it says it's ready to harvest, but yeah. So we'll do it anyway. So what we'll do is we will now come round here. We will at some point gravel the track basically up to there. Okay, so bearing that in mind, unfold that, we'll find reverse, spin you reverse and back, come forward, get that started up. We'll just make sure that the real mower is actually turned on, and it is. Conditioner switched on. now start driving forward, also make sure what's going on behind us isn't what we want. So we'll make a start known. So that said, we are we've got to play it as realistically as possible. Um, so like I said, need to stay in the car as much as possible unless I say we get the drone up. But because we're playing with mouse and keyboard, it might not be the only way we can properly do this. Oh, we do actually have access um, to here through the other side of at the other side of our house there. Or opposite our house is what I should be saying. So what we'll do is we will get a drone up so that you guys can actually see what mind you, if you look in the mirror you can actually see what we're doing as well. Just put the drone up just to make sure it's right. That's better. Don't think it makes any difference to actually what you can see in front. It's still quite dark. So just before we drive on, just gives us that little bit of extra help. So we'll get the drone up, guys, and we'll smash the window like that. Yeah, so we'll get the drone up, guys, so you guys can see what's going on. This is normally the point where we say if you want to join, feel free and all that, isn't it? But unfortunately, this is survival roleplay, realistic survival roleplay, and it's single player due to some of the mods we've got installed, such as the Rhinos and the Highlands, to name but a few. So just try and keep the drone as much as possible out of the trees. So guys, let me know in the comments what you thinking of this series. Are you enjoying it? Is it something that you will watch when it's a video? So we will live stream this at some point again, and yeah, we might do an empty series on it as well. Maybe, I don't know. It all depends on what's happening over the next few months. But at the minute, this is going to be staying as a survival roleplay series, realistic survival roleplay, so we can't keep mucking about basically. Got to try and do things as realistically as possible. Also, I do have Easy Dev installed because I know this game. I know this game can be a jerk at times. And we do have the hide mode enabled. Just for the time being, I'm going to disable it at some point if we don't need it. We do have a gate that I think is going to cause us issues, but I'm scared if we delete the gate, the gate's tied to something else. You know what I mean? Yeah. So we'll just continue doing this field, guys. We'll then put more. I would say put more into a shed, but I'm not actually sure what shed space we've actually got at this point. Apart from the silage bits, I don't know what implements in the silage bits. We don't actually have any bale sheds on this on this farm live. So we'll do 3 head-ons around the field for structure stocks. So one of the other things I want to do on this series is do some contracts. Obviously they're not going to be big contracts to do, they're going to be nice easy jobs. We are probably going to have to use our own equipment, okay? So again, we need to watch what jobs we take. We have to do the jobs ourselves, we can't use airline helpers. We have to do the jobs ourselves. Another thing is, this farm, or our farm, takes priority over all other jobs we do. So we need to be mindful of that situation. So again, continue doing this. We know our next job that we do coming in here is going to be a Tedder. To just make life as easy as possible with Tedders. Tedders will be wider than this. It's probably should be doing like 6 head at least. To make the Tedder life as easy as possible. But frankly, I want to go up and down this field at some point. So bearing in mind we only have a rear mower probably should be going round in circles. But unfortunately, that's probably not going to be possible. So, on our own fields, doing our own jobs, there's nothing stopping us from hiring workers. The only thing that stops, we have to stop the workers from doing is buying stuff. There's certain jobs we have to do ourselves, such as spraying. So we'll do all the spraying ourselves, that, herbicide stuff. We'll do all that ourselves. Dung spraying we can do ourselves, that's the nice easy job. Enjoy dung spraying in game. I actually enjoy dung spraying in real life as well. Especially when you've got to load yourself on a 2-wheel drive digger. That's fun. Yeah, that's fun. You're in a bog with 2-wheel drive digger, and yeah. It's an old style 3C. It's interesting, let's put it that way. That was one of the farms I used to work at. They had a digger, it was a 3C. Not a 3CX, just a 3C, an old 2-wheel drive, first edition, no, second edition, 3C. It was alright, it was not the best digger in the world I've ever operated, but it's nothing to do with age or anything like that. It was the fact that the farm didn't contain any of the equipment. Quite sure they maintained absolutely nothing. There's other farmers that they didn't even have their own tools, and if you wanted to do a job, a maintenance job, you had to use your own tools, or borrow tools from one of your mates who worked, a co-worker. There's one day we're doing some fencing and we didn't have the right tools for the job, so I found a bit of scrap metal. I found a bit of scrap metal and I made my own fencing tool, for tying the fence round. I made one for myself and one for the farm. And it's, I've used it pretty much ever since leaving that place. It only took me 5 minutes to make the two of them. Okay, it's a wee bit too wide for your hands, but for something that was made on the hoof, shall we say, it does its job. It's got a small hole and a big hole, depending on what type of fence you're doing. If it's net, obviously use a small one. If you're single wire, because your single wire is normally a thicker wire, then bigger holes there for that. It's just slightly too big for your hands, but it does the job. And it was, it was made from scrap metal. Scrap metal that was just lying outside, basically not doing anything. Um, that was one of those farms where I was employed to do certain stuff and actually never got allowed to do the stuff that I was actually employed to do. Um, I kept getting promised, oh, we're going to buy a digger for you so you can do your drains. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. You're going to get your own. We're going to build a shed so you can do maintenance work and keep top. Service machines and all that. I was like, yeah, okay. Um, 3 months later, still getting the same pattern every single two weeks. One of the owners was up. Oh, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Okay. Yeah, this ain't happening. Um, what is this? Wait, do you know anywhere we can get a decent digger? So I recommended a good place. I said, like, I know the company really well, and I don't mind going to have the equipment. What's the budget? Oh, what do you think we could get for around about 10, 15 grand? Well, around about an 8 ton, 5 to 8 ton digger's probably what we're needing. Um, so yeah, you could possibly get something for that value back then. This is 2014, 2015. So went and looked at two diggers from the same place. I said, look, the farm will be in touch with whatever they want to go with. But frankly, from my point of view, they're both really good diggers, and they've both been well maintained. Yeah, it was me. I would go with 8 ton. Yeah, okay. It was an old school 8 ton digger. It was late 90s, early 2000s digger, but it came with all the buckets. Um, all for price that it was marked up for. One of the other things we said was we are going to need a plant trailer to haul it about, and probably bale end, and a bale wedge. Can you guys show us one? So yeah, all that gets sorted out. I said to the boss, look, this company, they've got this digger. It's an oldish digger, but it will do for what we want it for. You're getting all the buckets with it. You're getting something that's been well maintained. The controls are so responsive. You would think it was a brand spanking new digger, basically. That they had to play about with the digger. please. Um, it never happened, basically. Absolutely never happened. Um, and then there was another one where, again, I was promised everything under the sun, things would change, and uh, I'd get left to go on with stuff on my own, and do the jobs that I should do, and not fanning about doing other stuff that really you've got other people there to do. If that makes sense. People who are more qualified to doing those jobs. Um, but it's, I would say that farm was the worst farm I've worked on. Um, and it was farm in Perthshire, mid Perthshire, and it was a family farm. I'd worked with one of the guys before elsewhere. It was a poultry unit, only poultry unit I worked on. Um, and even then, the guy was a bit of a, how can I put this politely? He was a bit of a twat. Um, he was one of those who thought the sun shined out his fucking arse, and he thought he knew absolutely everything there was to know. Um, we then had a go at me for, what happened after um, the poultry farm we worked for went out of business, and they handed the poultry units back to the estate, what meant they lost the homes and all that, the houses and all that as well. But one of the guys who was brought in to manage the poultry unit on behalf of an employer um, was allowed to stay in the house that was tied to the contract. And this guy turned round to me and he went, That's not fair. I was kicked out and you got to stay in this house." And basically, I turned, literally, I just turned around to him at the time. I was saying that to me. I turned around and I said, "Look, the reason that this person got to stay in the house was they came from a tied house. They rented the house from the estate um, prior to um, getting the poultry manager's job for the company that we worked for. That is the reason why they got to keep the house, because they gave up a rented house to say that job, and it was one of the agreements was that they got to keep the house if something went wrong. They, they would give them alternative accommodation, and it got a bit moody at that point, shall we say, put it politely. Um, as if he wanted to throw the toys at the pram, and frankly, it was then where I realised he was one of those people who would stab you in the back for the price of a chip. Oh, actually, he would stab you in the back for the price of a chip. And before then, I thought he was a reasonably nice guy. I thought he was, a good person to work with and all that. Bit lazy, don't get me wrong. He was a bit lazy at times, especially once it gets morning off. To go and hide in the house and not really do anything. And then obviously brought in the new manager, and this guy, he had to work. He had to work, and the new manager was doing jobs really that I was brought in to do. And basically, we were working fine. Employees come in, and basically, we had everything down to operations. We're mid clean round, turnaround. So contracts come in, and they're in and out of the control room. Okay, so the control room is in between the two sides of the shed, basically, middle of the building. And they're coming in and out of there with manky feet, checking you're on the soles of their feet. And my employer's wanting the control room tidied up. So I turned around to them and I actually said to them, look, there's no fucking point tidying this control room up until we finish turnaround. We have never ever cleaned the control rooms mid turnaround. Because there's literally no fucking point. And if you want to clean it, do it yourself, and you can shove your fucking job with the sun don't shine. I actually don't get paid enough to do this garbage, and frankly, lately I've been feeling like a spare fucking prick away. And shortly after that, they lost the contract. Yeah, after I left, they lost the contract. So, yeah, I actually don't care. It couldn't have happened to a nice company, basically. Losing the contract. One of the partners who ran the company ran off with 90% of the company's money, never to be seen or heard from ever again. And the other one, the last time I heard, was running a poultry unit down south into the ground. So yeah. I can't remember any of those guys' names. That's how much that company meant to me. Obviously, the guys that I worked with day in, day out, I remember them. One of them, it was fine. It was okay. The other one was a guy that I worked with later on. and yeah, that said, he would stab me in the back for the price of shit. Please, and it's just God. And then I was basically helping a friend out for a couple of years. No, a friend of family, helping them out on the farm for, well, the farm that they manage. And yeah, yeah, it's an okay job, helping them out, but it just, there were certain times you just weren't getting left alone with the stuff I was actually meant to have been doing. Um, and then basically getting told that not really much work for you now. We're not needing you in these days, and then obviously moving house. It just got to the point where, frankly, there wasn't enough money um, in it to pay me for my time and all that, but in covering expenses, and it just got to the point where I wasn't even able to afford my food. Um, and it was around the same time as my vehicle decided it was going to get up the goose, and yeah, one thing and the other, and everything else just on top of me, and I was like, can't do this anymore. Something's going to give, and yeah, but anyway, the fact that they haven't even got in touch with me lately, or yeah, it's fine. I know when I've been booze. Um, but yeah, so what we'll do is we'll get drawn back up in the air for you guys so you can watch what's going on, and a bit of a better angle. So you guys will be happy to know we're just about finished this build, for the moment that is. So we can then find a hide hole for Mo to hide in. We are missing bits here and there, but it's not the end of the world. Used in a wee bit. Um, the tracks is just taking off a bit too much on the steep grounds. It's just a case of trying to keep track of as under control as possible. I keep wanting to say if you want to join, feel free. But yeah, we're not on the server today, for this section, guys. This evening we'll be back on the server, so if you want to join this evening, feel free. We will be on Valley Springs. I need to double check how many streams we've got tomorrow. But yeah, I will probably try and do a bit of recording tonight, or this afternoon. Once we get done, it'll probably be a TED video. It'll probably take us about an hour to TED this build. I'll see how things are, when we're doing videos for this. If it's something that we feel as if it takes too long in the videos, and we're not actually doing that much work, if that makes sense, then we'll do live streams. And it'll probably replace we might do it on a Tuesday morning or something. Maybe a Tuesday or Thursday morning. Just to see what's going on. But yeah, it's one of those things we just need to do that. Elm Creek will be a Tuesday evening. We will keep Valley Springs a Thursday evening live stream. So I do apologise if you watched on the other side of the water and you want to join. On those days in the morning, my mornings, your late evenings. No, sadly. But yeah, so I know lately, that was so Wednesday lunchtime, early afternoon, mid-afternoon, is going to be when we do Twitch. I'm I might do it at weekends, do it an afternoon one. Probably, probably will be a Saturday. But it'll only be like a 2 hour, maximum of 3 hour live stream, which if we do it on a Saturday, because obviously it means we've then got 4 live streams in one day, and frankly, I don't really want to do that often. Especially if I've got to do it through one upload source. So it's not going to be until we know what's happening with our channel on Twitch. So we're definitely, if to keep Twitch going, we're going to need two streaming platforms. So one of them is going to be this OBS. The other one is more than likely going to be Streamlabs. So if it's a if we do it and all that, there's a really high possibility that you guys here on YouTube are going to see a different interface for at least a while. Because obviously we'll be getting our hands around or heads around Streamlabs. So I might as well put it on YouTube, because obviously we need to get our heads around it. It's a better system than obviously the YouTube, because this is where we stream most of the time. Don't get me wrong, from what I've seen of Twitch system is slightly better, but most of my audience is here on YouTube. It's easier to stream to YouTube. Let's put it that way. YouTube makes it a lot easier to stream, and the only downside with YouTube is its processing. It seems to be not behaving itself at the minute. YouTube has had an update on its streaming system. If you're streaming a video now, well, obviously streaming live, you now have a new option within that tab, your first setup, if you're doing it through YouTube itself. And it's something with the chat system. So it doesn't really affect me as a streamer. I don't think it really affects you guys that much as viewers. It's just adds a little bit more thinkability with chat. It's basically what it's for. But I haven't seen an issue with chat, apart from every now and then chat refreshes automatically, and yeah, but it doesn't affect us that much. Realistically. But yeah, we'll just finish in this field. We'll get more shade if there is a shade for it. If not, I don't know where to put it. Because I don't really want it outside, and I don't think we've got space for putting shades on. So another thing we need to do is obviously cut the grass at our house. Alright, for that we will need a ride-on mower. Because like I said, it's realistic. You've got to cut your garden, haven't you? Your grass, mow your lawn. So that's one of the things we need to do, obviously, for our garden is cut our grass. So just make sure we get all that, mow that. What I will do is probably turn that map off and minimise that map completely for the next live stream. Just especially for this map. So you're not going to see that much more field work today, I don't think. We'll start bringing some of the equipment round or back, or all of their equipment we've got. We'll bring all that back, we'll find some tidy homes for them. We might buy a 393 tractor for the sake of maybe doing a load of work. We might be a load of tractor. High possibility of being a load of tractor. The guilty government. Yeah, but we'll use it for Teddy. This tractor, I think, is probably going to be a wee bit on the big side for Teddy. We've used a 390 a T, so we're around about 95 horsepower. Here's it, it's around about the horsepower that we want for Teddy. Probably for grown up as well, actually. But yeah, this tractor is our main workhorse at the minute. The heavy stuff. Because it's near enough to 100 horsepower. As long as we don't go over 190 horsepower on the implements, it's fine. So I'll just screw the drone back up, as you can see. Just do this real quick. Yeah. So probably 3 pounds should suffice. There's no way we can do it in 2, so it's got 3. Just this, all that in one hit. As much as possible in one hit. So, and so we'll get that turned off, we'll get folded up, we'll jump back in the tractor. So, if you're enjoying what you're watching just now, feel free to give it a like. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. That's better. Yeah. So, also don't want to put any of the implements in their silent pits. What we're going to do is just leave that running for the time being. I don't have any. No, we do have some. Okay, so can we actually open this? don't believe we can. But yeah. I think this might be the track up to 99. Isn't it? I've actually no idea what this is up here. This is just a field of no. But yeah, I think this is just literally open space. So we could possibly put a shed up there. Yeah. So at the minute, this is our only shed. So yeah, well, a wee bit lacking shed space. So this is our track into here, which is fine. It's good enough. But we are on this farm at least lacking shed space. Now we ain't going in there with this railway price. That we can be 100% on. Yeah. So it makes no difference how I try to get that in, it ain't gonna fit in. So unfortunately this one's gonna have to sit outside. And it's going to have to sit down here. Well out the way. Yep. The bit behind the yard at the top, we might turn into a store yard. Yep. Hardcore the compound and put it all in there. At the minute, the motor's gonna have to sit here. So lower that down to the ground. We'll untouch that. Turn that off. Turn that off. Lights off. So the other thing we're going to do, like I said, we're going to get 390T. It's in here if I can find it. Somebody stole my knife. Number 390. There we go. So as you see, she's a beast of a tractor. We'll put the wides on. Can we get the keys on it? So we're going to stick with Telly Bog. So let's get that up. We're not going to put a front weight on. We don't need it. We will put a loader on. We're not putting that on. And it's around 92 horsepower. It's manual gearbox. And we'll buy one of them. So we'll come out of there. It's not going to let us work out what loader we need to put on it. So we'll buy the loader kind of when we're here. I know I said we didn't need to do that just at this point in time, and that's where we went with 3 point. But things have changed. And it makes no difference to us. So we'll get a Q3 because I believe that's around about all the size we want. We'll get it in massive red for both sections of it. We're not going to buy any attachments for at this point in time. So we'll tab to the Massey. Hopefully it has remembered not to put anything on the front. It has. Put it into the high box. It is a power shift, as you can see. Hydrostatic power shift. So you've got stop spot to go into forward and reverse. Unfortunately for this one. So one of the things we're going to do is attach the loader. Not the loader, the plant roll. So we'll move the plant roll out of the way. I could do it with super strength, but guess what, guys? Super strength isn't really allowed in this map series. So yeah. But it is a tight part. This, even the dealership in this map, is tight. So it's just a case of sorting it out. I know we should be in the car, but because there's that much stuff around here, it just makes it a wee bit life easier doing it this way. So we'll reverse it back. We'll unfold that down. Oh, I am going to put traction control full-wheel drive stuff on. We'll turn our full-wheel drive on. We will go forward. So the first thing we're going to put on is our pallet of wrap net. So that's the first thing that we're going to put on. We'll then put on our bale carrying device and then the bale. I think that's all we're going to fit on this. Maybe the tether. Tether might fit. If we can get the tether to fit, happy days. If we can't, then it's not really the end of the world. We just need to deal with what can't we got in front of us. So we'll go back to first person. And just make life a wee bit easier. Kind of. Saves you guys moaning at me too much. So we do have the realistic 3-point pitch. So that's what's causing the swing on the pallet. So we might need to go and get the Reynolds. Yes, we do need to go and get the Reynolds. So tab back to the Reynolds. Oops, we'll go forward because it does help. So we'll go back to the store with the Reynolds. We'll pick the plant roller up just to make life a wee bit easier for getting on and off. Yeah, new loader tractor. Well, I say new loader tractor, it's not really that new, is it? new to us. So let's get the gears back up. And I said this is our main workhorse. This is a tractor that is either going to benefit us completely, or it's going to be a pain in our arse. At the minute, it's quite a handy wee tractor. So just shy of 200 horsepower. It's reasonably nifty. I am going to knock off some rugs, we don't need it. So we're currently down to £669,000. Again, that's got to do us until we start putting money in. What's probably not going to be until at least this time next year. We have no arable crops in the ground. Actually, we have no arable crops in the ground. And we really could do with some straw. So we might get some straw delivered. So we are going to have to pay the delivery fee on that. The problem is the straw that we're going to get delivered is going to be square bales. We don't have any means at the minute of bed or die box, anything like that. That's not really necessarily expensive at this point in time. Hay we're going to be making, probably now not in this live stream, it'll probably not be until next week now. So it'll be Tuesday morning, or maybe a video, and you might have a video over the weekend of us tedding. Yeah, I'll do a video of us tedding. Also, I can't be on this map if I'm not live streaming or recording. That's one of the rules for this map, okay? So, whatever I do on this map, you've got to see, unless I've said otherwise. Yeah, if it's stuff that I've got to do off camera, because of game mechanics and all that. We will buy a digger just to make things look a wee bit realistic in what we're doing and all that. But it's not probably going to be that easy to do what we want to do. Pretty much all the farms on this map, except maybe one or two of them, have cattle. They're all pretty much cattle farms in this map, apart from, like I said, one or two of them. And they are sheep. One might be sheep and cows. I can't remember. I think the one you start off with is cows. The one along the road from it's a sheep farm. And the one with the other, I don't think there's one with both. It's base game anyway. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't really played this map that much. I've seen Dagobin's roleplay series, whatever it was. Well, let's play, I should say. He started it. The main start point with me a wee bit different. We started it from we started it. So we follow this road all the way back to the dealership, which is not the fastest of tractors. So it does take us a good minute or two to get there. So once we get fully up and running, we will be running about times 5, times 10, that kind of spec. because obviously it's 6 days per month, and it gives us that little bit of play. So here's another farm. So the goal is for this series is to progress as much as possible. Also, we started off with £1 million cost of the farm and the stock. But we didn't start off with any equipment, we don't start off with any bales, we won't start off with anything we can sell, okay? So we can't sell that farm and we can't sell the 69 cows and the one bull. You know, that's it. We can't sell any of that. Okay, so that has to remain at the farm. Any land that we buy during this series we can sell at the end. Okay? As of now. Okay, apart from what we bought at the very start of the game, as our base. Can't sell that. Okay? Why we can't sell the 69 cows and the bull that we bought at the very beginning. The equipment that we bought with our £1 million, we can sell. Okay? So we turn right here and follow the road. Follow the Albert Road. In our case it's Standard Road. We know potholes in. Can't be a British map. No, it's an Irish map, that's probably why there's no potholes. But anyway, livestock market must be a market on today, since there's a lot of people walking about. Another road basically to nowhere down there. So if we really wanted to make it hard for ourselves, we could have bought a forest to start off with and worked out of a wood, cut all the trees down and done that. But frankly, if we wanted to do that, we would probably play a different map. So we are getting close to our store. So we'll put the plant roller up, so the ramps are then on the ground. Most of the equipment in that we buy from the dealership or buy from the store, we have to come and get. Okay? The combine might be one of the only things that we have delivered. And if you've ever seen the chaos staggering hard, these combines getting them in and out of this place, you understand why. So yeah. So I do believe there is actually a mod that forces you to stay in first person. I might end up having to do that. But yeah. So we'll turn that tractor off. We'll then take a run over to 390. Is that actually off? Okay, again. Whatever. Putting diff on. This might be something we have to take a restart. Let's grab. So I might end up having to put this on the, swap these two tractors round, because I don't think this is going to power it up here. Put that on, no. There we go. The saying is brute force and stupidity. Yeah, if we had power, look, Fox. If we had a set of pallet forks, could buy a set of pallet forks. It would make life a little bit easier. But we don't. And plus, we've got it set up now that we can have it like that. That's be on, so it's not going to take a pallet. Once the pallet's at the farm, it's happy days. Don't need to worry about them from that point. Again, we'll take a race starter and square up as best we can. The next thing we're going to put on is the bale transporter. The only reason we got the load at this point in time for the 390 was we're buying the 390. And I didn't really want to have to drive the 390 back to pick the loader attachment up. Oh, the loader, I should say. So let's reverse this on. So that's going to be one of the other yeah, don't think we can get both on. Bill comes. Obviously the wrapper can stay behind, but not really needing the wrapper right at this point in time. But we do need the rake. If I can get the tether on as well, it's all good. Frankly, we don't actually need to take the ramp wheels. As long as we've got the net, we don't need the wrap. So if it comes down to that, then we'll take the wrap off I'll just use super strength to remove it. And I'll actually put it on the back up. How does that sound? Because then that way it's there. So I might actually do that. Yeah, that's what I'll do. We'll just pretend I'm not doing this. We'll put both pallets on the back of the pickup. I'll do it. Yeah, put both pallets on the back of the pickup. Because I'm pretty sure the pickup can manage. Maybe not. So what I might end up doing is let's put that on. Okay, is it not going to let me do that then? Okay. So we'll get the flatbed. Because obviously we're going to need the more. So let's put that there. I'll feel that. Can't we actually start? That actually give me any more space at all? No. Really, I don't think. Am I going to get Taser on at that? May. So I'll just put that on back up. Okay. So yes, I know. Let me know. So let's jump back in the 390. We'll just say that they've got the pop back and they've done the corners. Let's turn diffs off. So this way we can now put the tether on the plant trailer. We can then tow the rake back to the farm. We will need to bring the Reynolds back at some point to pick the wrap up, and actually this could actually come back this time. Actually, this is only a 20 speed. So we will come up with the Reynolds at some point, pick the wrapper up. Hopefully this will fit. It's one of those things, I hope it fits, because if it doesn't, it's really kind of ruined. Real life, you would make it fit. I think it will fit. It might not be the prettiest of things, but it should fit. As long as it doesn't walk down the ramp, we'll be fine. So let's just no strap on that. Don't know. Because I'm not 100% sure what's going to happen here, I'm going to go third person, zoom out as much as I possibly can. and get that done. So we've got to have this engine started. That will lift it up. It might have a fit, but we're okay because everything's strapped. We're okay. So we'll turn that off. As long as we don't unstrap before we need to, we should be okay. So we'll jump into 390. And we'll pick up the rake. So the rake's another one of those things we just won't get into a shed. Doesn't matter how hard we try, it ain't getting into one of the sheds. Unfortunately. What time of day we are? Not what time of day. Okay, so you've had a 2 hour stream so far. So we'll get this back to the farm. We'll then come back, get the Hilux, take stock trailer back, and I think that's probably going to do us for this live stream. So if you're enjoying what you're watching just now, give the channel a subscribe, give the live stream a like. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. If you want to share a link to any of the content here on the channel, you can do that as well. If you want to come join us, it's 7 o'clock later on to the day on Bally Springs. We will be back on MP session then. I have done a wee bit of work with our Elm Creek series. I was on that just before I come on to this, and I have enabled a few more mods. As far as I'm aware, the mods should work. And if not, obviously we'll get rid of the Z mods that don't work. But the reason behind having additional mods is to make life a little bit easier for Stone when he's driving, so that he's got the markers there. You've seen us putting in the yellow homes as markers last night during the live stream, and they're still there. We've just made it a wee bit more obvious to what's going on. But yeah, it's one of those things at the end of the day. So this is not the fastest track in the world. Literally, this is not the fastest track in the world. Nor is it the slowest track in the world. But we'll get there. Wake me up when we're there, guys. Can I also just say that I don't think it would have had a handbrake like that when it was brand new. Not in the UK anyway. I could be wrong in this style, but I'm pretty sure 398. Actually, yeah, okay, ignore that. I think. I'm thinking I have. Aye, 290, 390 two-wheel drive version was at 150. It had a proper handbrake. So yeah, but no, what I've just said. Um, but yeah, we'll lower that down. Yeah. So one of the other mods, I think I've enabled it for this as well, is the stone butt brake, kind of stone fork thing. Basically picks up stones in the field for you without the need of stone picker trails. So you can multicast in the field, basically. The only problem with that is it only holds up to about 900 litres. I think the stone offers, the trail ones are a ton. So there's not much difference between them. Obviously, the only difference is one's a tool behind the others, either a loader attachment or you put it on 3 point. As far as I'm aware, it's enabled. Let's just double check because it's now starting to. Yeah, so that's it there. Stone bucket. There's three of them. So there's three different ones. That's probably one we're going to go with. Telehand or 3 point universal interface. What, as far as I can work out, is possibly a shovel attachment. But yeah, 900, 800, 600. So there's them. We've got this. I've enabled that. That apparently is a grass roller as well. So we can field, grass, field, grass, field. Yeah. So that's that. What else? I don't think there is actually anything else we've enabled. Oh, I hit the wrong button. One of the cars, I think you've seen it in this one, if it's enabled. Is it enabled? I can't remember. I don't know, I can't try now. But the car that we've got is the Skoda. So it's a Wizard, but it's actually Skoda. We will get one of these stickers at some point. But yeah, we'll make the most of the setup that we'll hire. So back to a top speed of 2 miles an hour, sorry, 20 miles an hour. Close enough to 2 for my liking. Well, there is a 2 in it, isn't there? Yeah. Give the channel a subscribe if you haven't already done so. If you want to send a message, feel free. That's near the wall. Just, yeah. So where I get now, guys, it's one of those small jobs we just have to get on with it. And yeah. So we get up to the farm, we'll then tab back and get the pickup. We'll then bring the pickup back to the farm with F Williams. And that is what the state is that. That's all we're going to do in this live stream, guys. But yeah, is everyone actually enjoying what you're getting so far? I know it's a lot more hard work. I know it's going to probably annoy some people, because yeah, it's another British map. Well, yeah, because I think it is made by Northern Ireland, so yeah. So I forgot what I was going to say. Well, unfortunately, it is single player at this point in time. We might do an MP series on it at some point, but it's not going to be when we're doing this series. It's a tight map. It's probably not suited for MP, especially when Storm's driving. Sorry, Storm. But yeah, we've seen you driving, mate. Not gonna lie, we've seen you driving. Yeah. So we want to go our left here, nice and easily. Probably could have a little bit more weight on the front end of this track, I think. It doesn't seem to like towing the rake very well. I think it will just four-wheel drive on. But yeah, we will horse on, as I say. So we're just outside our farm. One of the things I'm going to need to do is try and find a gate into 96. I might do it with the drone. So we'll get the tractor into the farm. We'll try and find a gateway into 96 because we are going to get into 96 at some point. We also need to try and get into 99. I'm guessing that's the gate to get into 97. Yeah, obviously, because we've been in 98. So that's 97 in there. It might be we have to go up the road to get in. There's a gate over there for 96, 99. I don't think it's a one you get in through the house. Just gonna fit in there. Maybe this rake's too big for this map. And we end up having to go even smaller. If we do, we do. It's not the end of the world. It's just what it is at the end of the day. So just follow that around because obviously we're going to need it somewhere. We'll just say that we've got it in demo. And we can replace it when we need we need to. Sorry. So let's get that strapped in. Let's get the iPhones on the back of this. We will at some point need to bring the picket back to get the flatbed trailer. Because we'll need to get a mower for the garden. And the way things are going, it's probably going to be a ride on. So yeah, we'll get the lights on. And we'll head up. So we'll head up, and peel the pallet off, and drop the stock trailer off. We'll then take this a wee drive and see if we can. Oh well, nah, I think we'll just drone up and try and find the gate with the drone. Well, yeah, it's going to be easier. It's a bump there. Not really a map you want to do storm speed on. I actually don't think Storm could cope with this map. I really don't think he would. He'd send you a message going, "It's lagging." Because we all know what Storm's like. In fact, it's probably not lagging, it's probably fine. Don't know, Storm, is he actually? No, he has sent me messages. Somebody sent me messages anyway. I used. Right, so he sent me a message saying no, because I also sent a message, "Hi, are you sleeping yet? Sleeping yet again?" Yeah. He's then sent me a reply back at 1:30. going, no, I have PC problems and internet problems. I will bleep my provider. He's then sent me a message back at 5 to 2 going, hi! And that was about it. So, Storm, if you're watching, you've said you were going to do that to your provider before, and clearly you haven't. So, yeah. This you can't join Storm. This is single player, unfortunately, if you're watching. It's nothing to do with your internet, mate. Uh, so yeah, we'll get this back. We'll try and find the gate into 96. Knowing my luck, it's going to be up the road. Well, it's going to be an absolute pain in the arse. As long as it's not a Y gate, we got to go up the road and jack right round, like basically back on yourself, we'll be fine. So, give me a right-hand drive vehicle, please. We'll get there. Yeah, I'm going to do it that way because of the speed I'm going to do. Can't drive that back up left-hand drive. I'm doing super speed on this road. It's not wide enough for that carry on. Even up. Right, I'm going to enable four-wheel drive. It just gives me a little bit more control of what's going on. Power! Brakes work. light. Follow the road. Not 100% sure what that is. It's up the other side of the trees. But I'm guessing at some point we will find out. So we're just going to keep super trying to park out. We'll start. Oh, set that there. So we'll take the picker back to the house and we'll take it from there. Up at the house, and now it's turn around and get some time. So we'll drive up, instead of reversing. We will probably gravel and turning radius, just so it doesn't look as if we're driving on the path. We'll just gravel out turning radius there. Make things look a wee bit nicer. Well, probably take it turned up here, we probably can easily, but it's fine. So what we'll do is we'll jump into flight mode. If I enable it properly, it'll be a lot better. That's better. Yeah, so that there is our gate into this field. And the gate into 90 whatever, 99 is here. I don't think there's another gate in there, is there? Don't think you can access from there. No. And that's the end of the map. So, you know, I don't think we can buy the Woodlands very easily. Actually, we can't be able to. So that rules that idea out. We can also buy 95 at some point. So the other thing I wanted to go and see was what was over the other side of these trees. It's not the fastest way of moving, so let's do that. Oh, it's a rock. It's rocks, guys. It's rocks. I thought it was actually something a little bit more interesting than a rock. But yeah. So we'll head back to the farm. Also, we could probably do something like that at some point if we buy that place. But yeah, we'll bring the camera back here. One of the other things we've got is a strawberry store. But yeah, it's one of those jobs where we just have to do what we can do. So what we'll do now is we'll bring the drone back to the house, and ooh, that was a little bit. So we'll just have that off, that back to around the times 4 mark. That can go off, that can go off, and bye bye. So guys, thank you very much for watching. Till next time, which is around about 7 o'clock tonight. Yeah. We'll have normal fuel, which I think that's better. So let's do that and that. So, thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel. If you want to like the live stream, feel free. If you want to share a link to the live stream or any other content here on the channel, feel free. Yeah, so till then, enjoy the rest of your day until the next live stream. Whatever you're doing for the rest of your day, enjoy. If you're still at work and you've been watching us or listening to the carry on, yeah. And we'll take this opportunity to wish Storm the very best with his internet. He might be joining us later on, he might not. So yeah, we are on MP receiving. So yeah, Bally Springs, I believe. So if you've been keeping up to date with what's happening in Bally Springs, it's another Irish map. It's a day of the Irish, for sure, for sure. Right, I'll leave you with that. Bye, guys. Bye for now.